Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Hopefully.
How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Listen, tragedy, absolute tragedy. Today's podcast,
Yeah.
just kind of want to get right into it, man. The Great Kobe Bryant,
Yeah. What happened on Sunday absolutely sucked.
41 years young. Absolutely insane.
Yeah. I think it left both me and you like numb when we
It was
heard.
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It was
Absolutely.
totally insane. Now, you know, I didn't know him personally, but,
Yeah.
you know, growing up, he was definitely, you know, like that guy.
Yeah. I think that that's what makes this particular death so tragic. You know, me and you are the same age. So he's part of our generation, you know.
100%.
The other generation had, you know, Michael Jordan.
Absolutely.
We had Kobe. I can't remember a time in high school or something that I didn't see someone wear his jersey or, you know, playing, you know, in recess, Kobe.
That's
you know
right.
What I mean?
Listen, man, you throw paper balls into the trash can.
Yeah.
And you're still just Kobe.
Absolutely.
You know, 20 years later. You're still doing it.
Remember, like, fighting with people, like, especially the older generation. Like, no, you know, Kobe's better than Michael. Just, you know, just to kind of play around. But
Absolutely.
that's us growing up. So he was a huge part of that. And I'm from Los Angeles. So you kind of had to root for the Lakers. I have so many memories of my dad taking us to the Staples Center. So it's absolutely sad.
I know. It's just one of the things where you like never expected, right?
No,
you know what I mean?
absolutely
Like
not.
you just, you know, never wake up. You know, like some people you're like, oh, hey, you know what? Like this guy does some crazy shit, you know, like his time might come pretty soon.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just like absolutely heartbreaking. And his daughter.
Yeah.
That like really like put the icing on the cake for me, just because, you know, being like a new parent.
Yeah.
Still, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any words. Just the imagination of that even happened just doesn't even exist for me.
Yeah, I think it's tragic that all 9 people died in that helicopter.
Yeah.
You know, 5 families were affected by that tragedy.
Yeah. So sad. So fucking sad.
But I understand that feeling. When you told me what happened, like, I mean, it started off as such a normal Sunday for us. We were playing with K-Legs. Ironically enough, we were playing outside and we were like, Kobe.
Yeah, like literally.
Yeah,
literally.
and we had no idea what was going on. That's what makes it even crazier that we were joking about like Kobe.
Right.
And then we came inside, you know, it was time for lunch, preparing, you know, the baby's food. And then you're like, oh my God, like TMZ just reported that, you know, Kobe died.
Yeah. It's crazy because like I had my phone down and, you know, I heavily check social media and, you know, I get notifications on my phone, you know, just for, you know, the Instagram for the podcast and just, you know, like my personal Instagram also. Yeah. You know, just for like business and, you know, you like look through my feed and I was just like, Kobe Bryant dies in helicopter crash. And I was like, nah, no way. This is crazy. And like instantly just like, I don't know, like I just got a knot in like my stomach again, like just to have that impact and not personally know the person. You know, like just to have just that little itty bitty ounce of like the connection to just be like, oh my God, like what just happened?
I didn't even believe it.
I didn't believe it either. I was like, oh, this is like a fucking joke or something.
That's what I thought. You showed it to me and I said no, because we also tried to look it up somewhere else and it wasn't reported at that time.
It was gone.
So I was like, whatever, this is such a horrible prank because it happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's not true. And, I had just been looking at Vanessa's Instagram, Vanessa Bryant, because I follow her and I've absolutely loved her for years. And it's like, no, she just posted something about like her daughters and, you know, whatever. It's like, this is a lie and it's cruel and I don't like that. But as time kind of kept going, then the reports started coming in and then it just kind of hit differently.
Oh, yeah. I was like, yo, this shit is real. This is fucking real.
Yeah. But when, you know, and there was a lot of misinformation at the beginning. So I was like, this can't be true. There's like things that are going back and forth. But then when it was like confirmed. And then that's what really did it for me when I found out that his daughter was in the helicopter, because she was the same age that JoJo is.
And you're just like, holy shit. Like,
yeah. I couldn't imagine.
I got a 13-year-old too.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine, because I told you that I've seen videos of them as a family because I do follow Vanessa.
Right.
And I absolutely love seeing that other side of Kobe. Like I, definitely remember seeing basketball games and stuff like that. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I definitely watched the Lakers games and stuff.
Definitely.
And he was a beast doing that. But then after he retired, seeing him with his girls and seeing, videos of them going to Disney and stuff like that. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Cause
he was fucking family, man.
Yeah. Cause I love, having my kids. So I loved seeing that. So when I found that out, like immediately I thought about, just processing that, like, that something's going to happen, and then you automatically assess the situation and you see your kids there, and you would do anything for your kids. You know what I mean? You would save your kid's life over you.
Oh, 100%.
But to know that you can't do anything, not only that, you probably don't even think about yourself at that point. That's devastating to me.
You say, I just gotta wrap my arms around them, and just, I don't even know. Like I again, just typically lost for words, but let's talk about what kind of man he was, right? God, you know what? Like, what type of athlete he was.
Oh my God, amazing.
Set the fucking standard so high for people in the NBA, like LeBron, right? Same thing what Michael did. I feel like Michael did that for Kobe. Bam, and then Kobe, bam, did that, for the next one coming, and it's, King James. But I watched tons of documentaries on Kobe and his mindset and, becoming the Black Mamba.
Oh my God, inspiring for anything that you do, not just the sport.
Correct. You can take his mindset and you can implement it into anything, whether you want to be a bodybuilder, whether you want to build a pool, or whether you just, like to draw or create a podcast or like anything. And that's what I think was so amazing, that it wasn't just tailored for basketball. It was tailored for everyone who wants to go out there and do something, to just really go out there and do it and just put, 150 million% in,
Absolutely.
To keep it in the hundreds doesn't do Kobe justice at all, and, I like what he said. And he's like, we'll, wake up at 4, and practice till, 6 or 7. And then you come home and then you rest, right? So your body can rest from, your first workout. He was like, then you go back at it again. Then you come home and then you rest. And, he was just like, people are starting at, 5 or 6. He's like, I'm starting at 3. Mm-hmm. And he's like, just those extra 2 hours that he puts in over time, he was like, you're just so far ahead of everybody that they can't even catch up.
Yeah. Because
they're so accustomed to starting at 6 instead of starting at 3, So he's like, I'm putting an extra 2 hours. He's like, imagine, what that does, 6 months, a year, 2 years along the line. He's like, even if I stop doing it and I take a break, everyone else is so far behind me that it's not going to matter. Like, I'm still so far ahead of everybody else. And I was like, holy shit, what a way to think about it.
Oh, his hunger for excellence was amazing.
Oh, crazy.
Something that I've never seen before. Just from early on, I've seen a ton of documentaries from him as well. And from very early on, it's really rare to see somebody just define what they want to do as a child and do it to the T and go even further. I mean, he really lived his dream.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? I actually remember seeing 2 things that kind of come into mind. His last game.
I'm going to crack this bad open because
his
we
last
will
game,
sip for Kobe today.
Because I saw it with you. And then I remember seeing his jerseys being retired. And just for him to see like everything that he did and stuff like that. But he got to live, he got to see it in life. And that's what's amazing. Not a lot of people get to see themselves become legends.
Oh, totally agree. And to even have a family to even share that awesome experience too, and for have other people, to, view you as one of the GOATs for sure.
Yeah.
And again, it's
well, and he's always said that he definitely looked up to two players, and that was Michael Jordan, obviously,
everyone,
and Magic Johnson. That was like another person.
Yeah, the two MJs of the NBA. Hot damn.
But to have that as a kid, whoa. You know what I mean? When I actually didn't know this before, but he lived in Italy and was there because his dad was in the NBA. So he lived in Italy.
That's fine.
Fluently, went to school there and everything. A lot of people don't know that the number 8, his first jersey, came from the number that he had in Italy. So that was number 8. And then 24 was his number in high school. So both of those numbers meant something to him.
And they retired both of those bad boys.
Yeah.
How awesome is that?
But in Italy, he looked up to Magic Johnson, and that's what he wanted to do. And for him to have seen his whole career, and when they retired his jerseys, Magic Johnson was the one that, did his tribute and introduced him. So I put that all together. As a kid, visualize that you want to do something, idolize someone, and then them are paying tribute to you. Must be absolutely.
How fire is that? How fucking fire is that?
It just shows like how amazing he was at his craft.
And you know what? Like this goes out for anybody out there who has some sort of vision. Doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're a youngin or whether you're in your 30s, whether you're in your 50s. And you have to do it now because we can say, oh, like you have the time to do it. Yes, you do, but you just don't know how much time you have left. Of course, but you can take a look at everyone who has become very, very successful, and it doesn't happen in your teens. It always doesn't happen in your 20s. Sometimes it happens when you're 40 or you're 50 or you're 60 years old.
Absolutely.
And but just not giving up is the key, and just keeping that thing, just like that vision going on, and Kobe is admirable for being able to do that. And shout out to his family for sticking through it, right? Because even though you have a vision and you want to go out and do things, you want someone to kind of go on the journey with you. You know what I mean? Like they have their own choice whether they want to stay with you during the journey, or if they would want to leave because they don't want to be a part of that journey. Right. So, for, his wife to be like, absolutely go ahead, because I'm pretty sure there were times where, she would wake up and, he wasn't there because he was out practicing, or, she was home with the girls and he was like, you have to hold this down. Yeah. And
that's why I always admired her, because I'm a woman and I understand that women have needs. And
for sure.
When you envision having a family, you don't envision your husband being gone all day, eating dinner by yourself, you doing everything alone with the kids. That's not the dream. I always kind of looked up to her because she's only a few years older than us. So I remember she was 17 when she started dating him.
Yeah, super young.
So I kind of remember being young and being like, oh my God, she got to be like she's with Kobe and he's like,
look at her.
So famous and stuff. But you're absolutely right. I always thought about that. I'm like, she has a choice to either stick with him or not. And, Kobe wasn't perfect.
No.
There was a lot of things that happened, in the course of their marriage or whatever. I'm not here to judge him. He's no longer here. I don't know, what happened in that, but it is part of his story. But I think what I admired more about both of them actually is that a lot of women would have just been like, you know what? I'm going to divorce him and take everything, and she stuck around. They were married for 20 years. That's a lot than a lot of people can say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that it was not easy. And now she has a even more harder task, that I can never, ever, ever imagine.
But, Kobe is, obviously going to help her get through it, not through it physically, but, and it's having the impact. I mean, he loved his kids, which is amazing. Anybody who has kids, I don't know how you can not love kids or just abandon them. Like, it is just absolutely terrible, you know. But Kobe didn't do that, you know, and you know, he was there, and you know, he wanted, you know, to teach him things. And I saw an interview with him, and they're like, man, like, what's it like, you know, being able to share, you know, that, you know, like having a daughter that has the same passion that you had, and you know, being able, you know, to like teach her. And most people are like, oh, it's great, it's amazing. He said, listen, he goes, in any passion, he goes, it doesn't matter, right? Like, he was like, because she has a passion for basketball, he was like, you know, that's great. But if she had this same passion for something else, he was like, I would still be passionate, just as passionate as in with her liking basketball. I'll be just as passionate with her doing something else. And I was like, holy shit. Not the typical response, right, that you would even expect to hear. Right? You would typically hear, oh, he's like, oh man, it's amazing. We get to bond on this whole new level, you know, and like, he shut it down quick. Like, he's like, doesn't matter the fact that, you know, it's her love of basketball. You know, whatever her love is going to be my love also, like basically saying that. And that's what I got out of it. And I was like, man, I wish I could just have met you for one day and just sit down. Good dude. Such a wholesome fucking dude. Such a wholesome dad.
I think that that's why people loved him so much, because he was so reachable. Like, you know, if you didn't like basketball, but you love your family, you resonate that. You know what I mean? If you love basketball, you know, sports, you know, you resonate. He wrote books, you know what I mean? If you're an author or whatever, you resonate with him on that. So I think that he was so touchable by people, you know what I mean? So I think that that's what made him special. And, you know, towards the end, every interview that I seen, he just seemed like such a humble dude.
Oh, man.
And
always
just
smiling, positive energy,
and especially laughing. When he talked about his girls,
like, he lit up like a fucking Christmas tree.
Like, I mean, I wasn't there personally, but from what you saw, like, when you think about like providing a father for your kids, like, he was that example.
He was that fucking guy. Absolutely. Now, Kobe definitely has said something to me where I'm like, yo, I gotta step my game up. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was doing something great, you know, trying to, you know, be around my son 24/7. And I was like, man, like, you know, you could always do that little extra, you know, like, no matter what the excuse is. And, you know, like right now, like, I mean, we had a long day, and, you know, it's super late, almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're recording this podcast. And, and we're both tired. We're like, fuck, dude, we're just so tired. We're like, what would the fucking Black Mamba do?
You know? I actually...
Black Mamba would just be like, you know, fuck this.
What is
like,
the Black Mamba mentality?
You know, like, bank this out, do it, just give it all, get it done. And, you know, like, I wouldn't have any other way to like, do this.
Every interview that I seen, when people were talking about him, not after he passed away, but while he was still alive. So obviously what they're saying is absolutely true. He was the first person to go to the gym. He was the last person to leave. I saw an interview that he had a long time ago. But he said that Magic Johnson had approached him, you know, when he was having issues with Shaq, you know, in the Lakers. And Kobe never liked to go out with the team. He didn't like to go to the clubs. He didn't like to go to strip clubs. And Magic Johnson actually pulled him to the side and was like, you need to interact with your team, and forget about hanging out too much with your new girlfriend, Vanessa, at the time, and doing your own thing. And Kobe was just like, why? Why do I have to do something that I don't want to do to make them feel good? You know, what makes me feel good is to go to the gym, practice, and have my mind concentrating on the game. Because me going to a strip club or going to the club is not going to make me win the game. And he was adamant about that. Everyone that interviews, you know, had interviews or whatever, said the same thing, that he was just all about the game. That's it.
He was so focused on winning.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he was like, what's the point of doing this if you don't want to win?
That's all he ever wanted to do, win a game.
That is it. And when he lost, he was devastated. Like, he was like, fuck, he was so pissed off, you know, just because he was like, I just want to be a winner. You know what I mean?
He did have to learn a little bit towards the beginning of his career that you can't always do it by yourself.
No, of course not. You can't.
I think he had to understand. So the owner of the Lakers actually made a great move. I said early on when Kobe was like 18, no one could really get through to his head that, it's team playing, not just the Kobe, game.
The Lakers isn't just
one person. Lakers, yeah. So he wouldn't pass the ball. He wouldn't work with Shaq. So the Lakers owner made a fabulous decision. It was like, I think I know somebody that can get through to him. And he actually spent $30 million to get Phil Jackson, which was the coach for the Bulls.
No one got more rings than Phil Jackson, baby.
Exactly.
Nobody.
To come on board and help. It was a move that was made specifically to get Kobe on the right mindset.
Of course.
And I actually saw an interview where Kobe actually said that once Phil came down and started talking to him one-on-one and they had conversations and things like that, he understood that he really did love the game and he got him. He understood him. So he listened to him. And that's when that team duel started happening with
Kobe
him.
Shaq.
Yeah.
That's right. See, people compared Kobe to Shaq. I mean, Kobe to Michael, right? They're like, oh, Kobe. And Kobe's a better player and, Michael's a better player. And, they even do it with like Michael and like LeBron now. But people need to understand, listen, like, yes, Jordan was the best defensive player. He was the best offensive player.
Yeah.
At his time, what makes him the greatest player of all time, right? Or one of the greatest players of all time is that he made his other teammates better players also. And people don't really understand how strong that is. People are like, fuck it. Like, they don't want to put the effort in. Like, I'm just going to have to carry the team and like do it by myself. I get it. Sometimes you have to do that. But Jordan was like, I need Pippen. I need Pippen to be just as good as me so that we can go further, right? If you want to do something fast, do it by yourself. But if you want to go far by doing something, you have to do it together. And that's what made Mike the greatest player of all time, is that he understood that, sure, I can get this done by myself and it'll be fast, but I'm not going to get as much done by myself. I need to bring everyone else with me. They'd be the same page. You know what I mean? Like, he made Rodman a better player. He made Pippen a better player. Like he was like, just, I don't have the words to put, you know what I mean? But, and Kobe was like that back in the day. Kobe was a ball hog. He liked to showboat. He was young, he didn't go to college. He wanted to be like Mike. Out of high school. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you know how amazing that is?
At that time, Kobe was the youngest kid that was drafted.
In the NBA, yeah.
He actually made the choice to either skip out on college or just go straight to the NBA. Which a lot of people still probably argue he probably should have gone to college. No. The reason why is because he was really stubborn at the beginning. And they're like, if he would have had the time to go to college and stuff and played maybe college, basketball, whatever, he would have maybe matured more. By the time that he got to the NBA, his mindset would have been different. But either way, it doesn't take away from the fact that he is a legend and there'll never be another Kobe Bryant.
Never.
I just always separate Mike, and Kobe, just because they're great, both of them, in their own categories.
Correct. And they have a bunch of qualities that are completely similar and are the opposite from each other. Like,
I think when people compare them, is because Kobe himself said that he studied Mike. One of his friends in Italy actually said that Kobe used to bore him because he used to watch VHSs and study Michael Jordan. And he practiced things that he did and he mimicked him because he wanted to be like him. But at one point he said, I'm going to be better than him.
Oh, yeah.
And, whatever, people can dissect that as much as they want. But, to me, they're both great in their time.
I think what made Kobe is that, he, you know, he wasn't one track minded, right? And he was open to like a lot of things. Just, you know, the interviews that I've seen just over the course of, you know, 2 decades.
Yeah.
And you know, like if you recommended something or if you gave him something, he would actually take the time and he would look into it and he would dissect it and he would really get into it. And if he enjoyed it, he was like, I want to know more about this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just, he was so hungry for knowledge and learning new things. And, you know, people, you know, don't know like the little things that he did. Like, he's like, oh, like, I need to, you know, get better legs, you know, so like I can, you know, shoot better. And he's like, oh, like part of that is getting stronger ankles.
Yep.
So like, how do I strengthen my ankles? Oh, let me do tap dancing. You know what I mean? Just like to think like that, you're like, holy shit, like who in their right mind would be like, I need stronger ankles. I'm going to learn how to tap dance to strengthen my ankles to be a better player, right? Either no one or very, very few people.
Very few.
But you'll never ever hear about it.
Special man.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And to dedicate everything that he had to his craft is allowed him to retire and completely be in peace. You know, there was never a point where I think he was like, I'm retiring, and, you know, I don't think he was like, man, like maybe I should play again or blah, blah, blah.
No, he was very content with retiring from the game. I think that he had made that choice. I spent 20 years doing what I absolutely love at the sacrifice of my family.
Okay.
And at this point, his passion moved on from the game to his family. And you could see that. And I think that that's what's so tragic, that he really was enjoying just being, I think, the father that he maybe wanted to be, but his full-time job was to be in the game. And
sure.
You know what I mean? He was coaching his daughter. His oldest one plays volleyball and stuff like that. So I'm sure that he helped, you know, with her and stuff. And, you know, I think that that's what's so tragic, that he was doing books. He won an Oscar for a short animated film that he did for one of his books. So you are just kind of left with what could have been. The second phase of his life seemed to be full of happiness with, you know, for him and his family. And now it's just gone. You know, I do think that he lived an amazing life, even though he only lived for 41 years. There's a lot in those 41 years.
So much more left.
So much that me and you could not even, you know, dream of what his life was. You know, he got to really experience life. But, you know, his girls won't have him. And then, you know, when I think about Gianna, that's heartbreaking, because she had dreams to, you know, play basketball, and it was cut so short.
Mambacita.
That's what puts that knot in like my, you know, throat, just to think about her.
Oh,
you know, and to think about Vanessa missing her daughter.
She was an absolute baby. Absolute baby.
Yeah.
She had way more than 41 years left in her, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, long live the Black Mamba.
Yeah.
Kobe, you have made a huge impact on tons and tons of people, man. So I know you're up there. I know you don't know me personally. I know you don't know us, man. But just thank you. Thank you for being able to change the mindset of so many people. Yeah, and you know, just know that you know, by you being great, you make other people want to be great also.
Yeah.
And you know, just
crazy. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Me and you never met him, but
never,
you know,
yeah, it
definitely
still hurts, you know.
When you can impact people and you don't know them, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Just that genuine, you know. But people, appreciate you listening in. Rest in peace, Kobe. We all love you. Yep. Rest in peace, Gianna. Take care, baby girl. Subscribe.